First of all, it's not really hard to determine what happened. They send in arms experts. They can immediately evaluate. So there's always the possibility. I don't know. I'm waiting to hear what the authoritative sources say. What I do know is don't trust the word that the US government says, don't trust the word that the British government says, and of course, it goes without saying, don't trust the word that Israel says. Well, there are really three aspects to it. The technical aspect, obviously, was an astonishing technical feat by Hamas. Look, Gaza is the most intensely monitored place on God's earth in terms of surveillance, satellite surveillance, intercepting of communications, and then there's a huge, what they call it, human. Then there's the factual level. And the factual level, we have a broad picture of what happened, but there are still details which, in terms of rendering a judgment, for example, in Hamas as an organization, there are still aspects of it which are murky and will probably forever remain murky. And then there's the third dimension, which is, of course, the most difficult dimension, namely the killing that occurred at a moral level. For most people, it comes very easy to condemn Hamas as despicable murderers and so forth. I think it's a more complicated moral question for how you come to grips morally with the actions of people who, from the day where they're born, most of those militants who burst through the gates of Gaza, they were born into a concentration camp, and they spent the whole of their lives in that concentration camp. And they were confined to a space about 25 miles long by 5 miles, among the most densely populated places on God's earth. Nobody was allowed in, nobody was allowed out, with the rarest of exceptions. No jobs,